Have you ever stopped to think why, right after an outburst of anger, everything around you seems to go wrong? Have you ever felt as if, when you lost emotional control, you had also lost an invisible protection that had previously surrounded you? Anger is one of the most powerful and dangerous human emotions, and not just because of what she does with her body or with her words, but because of what she triggers in the spiritual world. Yes, anger opens spiritual breaches, and perhaps, without realizing it, this is where many people lose the battle they didn't even know they were fighting. It's not an exaggeration, nor cheap mysticism, it's reality. Every emotion has energy, and all energy emits a frequency. When you feel love, joy, gratitude, you rise, your spiritual field strengthens. But when anger dominates you, it breaks your natural vibration, disorganizes your protective field, and leaves you vulnerable. It's as if you opened a crack in an invisible shield, and through that crack, everything that is imbalance, negative charge, and opportunistic spiritual influence passes without difficulty. Have you ever felt like, after a tantrum, things started to go wrong in sequence? Blind rage. She doesn't warn you, she takes it, and when you take it, it exposes you. Exactly in this moment of lack of control, you lose your emotional and spiritual lucidity. Your mind disconnects from faith. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your thoughts become weapons. And what was stored away, hurts, traumas, pain, comes to the surface as if it had waited for this gap to manifest itself with force. And when this energy is added to what is on the invisible plane, the damage can be much greater than you imagine. You know, that silly fight that turned into a breakup, that quick argument that ended in deep hurt, that moment of anger that generated a word that has no return. Have you ever thought that it wasn't just you who was there, that behind your emotional state there was a spiritual breach being used for discord to settle in, disunity to be planted, and peace to be stolen from your life? Often it is in an attack of anger that the spiritual bonds of protection are broken. Homes where everything was going well begin to fall apart because of constant tantrums. Environments that were once serene become heavy. And, before we realize it, we are already living in a cycle of resentment, pride, and hostility. Do you know someone like this? Or worse, do you feel like you're living it? Anger can be like an open door for the worst to come in. Because when it takes over, not only do you say and do things you wouldn't do, but you also connect with spiritual frequencies that feed on this state. Have you ever noticed how, after an intense discussion, the atmosphere seems to become charged? The air is heavy, people move away, the silence gets harder. This isn't just psychological, it's energetic, it's spiritual, and the most dangerous thing about anger is that it is addictive. The more you give into it, the quicker it takes over the next time, and the more this happens, the weaker your spiritual field becomes. It's as if with each explosion, you fragment your own protection. And then the cycle begins. You get angry, feel guilty, keep it, explode again. And the spiritual field opens up more and more, allowing energies of envy, obsession, intrigue, and even emotional and physical illnesses to find space to settle. How many illnesses have you heard that started after deep anger? How many times have you heard someone say, "After that argument, I was never the same again"? It may seem like a coincidence, but it rarely is. Anger weakens the spirit, and a weakened spirit attracts everything that is on the same frequency: pain, lack of control, imbalance. Now take a deep breath and think, when was the last time you lost control? What dominated you? What did you feel afterwards? What if that loophole is still open today? If you feel like you need to protect yourself, that you need to understand yourself better, that you need to break this cycle of impulsive reactions, know that you are not alone. A lot of people are stuck in this and don't even realize it. Before we continue, leave it here in the comments. Do you feel that anger has dominated you more than it should? Have you ever had moments when, after an explosion, you realized that Everything had fallen apart. Right here, your story can help others who are going through the same thing. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, take advantage now. Subscribe, turn on notifications. This is very important so that we can continue to explore the myths and truths about spirituality and energies together. Here we talk about the soul, about pain, about protection with truth, with respect, and with faith. Because the next step now is to understand how to protect your energy from anger itself, how to use the momentum to recognize the gap before it opens, how to turn fury into a shield, not poison, and how to begin to close with awareness and spirituality what was opened by lack of control. Because you can change, you can close what was opened, and you can find peace again without having to remain silent. But knowing how to protect yourself, because you can change. You can close what was opened, and you can find peace again without having to remain silent. But knowing how to protect yourself. What most people don't understand is that anger doesn't appear out of nowhere. It forms in layers, accumulate. It feeds on poorly healed wounds, of sorrows that were never digested. And when she encounters a moment of weakness, she manifests herself with a strength that doesn't seem human. And sometimes, maybe it isn't. Have you ever felt as if, in certain moments of anger, you were no longer you? As if another force had taken over, as if you said things that you didn't even remember properly? This is not normal. This can be spiritual. Anger opens portals, portals that allow the approach of energies that feed on destruction. Because yes, there are spiritual forces that grow stronger where there is pain, chaos, and lack of control. Have you ever wondered why certain environments where there are frequent fights seem darker, colder, heavier? Have you ever noticed that after an intense discussion, even without anyone saying anything else, the place continues to vibrate something negative? The environment becomes contaminated, the climate changes, and something hangs in the air. These gaps, opened by anger, allow unbalanced spiritual presences to come closer. Entities that seek precisely this, the moment of weakness, the moment the soul lets its guard down. And when this happens, the person is not always able to close what they opened on their own, because some energies, once installed, need to be undone with prayer, with spiritual cleansing, with a change of posture. Have you ever felt that, after certain episodes of anger, your life has gone downhill? That chain problems began to emerge in areas that were previously in balance. Anger is an invitation to the invisible, a dangerous, silent but real invitation. And each time you repeat this pattern, the easier it becomes for these forces to take hold. The body starts to get sick, insomnia becomes frequent, the mood changes without explanation, people move away, and even faith begins to weaken. Have you ever felt that after a period of constant anger, it has become more difficult to pray? That your faith has lost strength? That the silence has become too heavy? The good news is that you can reverse this, but it needs to start with awareness. Recognize that anger is not just an emotion, it is an energy, and energy transforms. But to do this, you need to act at the right time. The moment it starts to rise, try to breathe, not just for emotional control, but because deep breathing helps to reorganize your energy field. The air reconnects you, anchors you, aligns you, then silence. Don't react immediately. Anger awaits its impulse. If you break the reaction cycle, you close the first gap, and that already changes everything. It already prevents chaos from taking hold, and most importantly, protect yourself spiritually. Every day, with prayer, with words of power, with herbal baths when necessary, rosemary, rue, lavender, each plant carries strength. The smoke of incense, when used with faith, is not just an aroma, it is a shield. Have you ever had the experience of saying a prayer after an episode of anger and feeling as if you were cleansing your soul? Have you ever lit incense and, as the smoke rose, felt the room begin to breathe with you again? And more, watch the triggers. There are people, environments, memories, and even music that take you to states of deep irritation. This is not for nothing. Everything vibrates, and what vibrates badly attracts what is out of adjustment. You need to understand that protecting your spirit is not just about lighting a candle. It's choosing who you hang out with, what you consume, what you repeat out loud, what you believe. Have you ever noticed that anger increases when you listen to certain people? Have you noticed that there are places that make you feel smaller, more angry, more vulnerable, and finally ask for forgiveness? Anger leaves traces, and these tracks are in the fields of the people you hit. When you ask for forgiveness, you release, free yourself, release the other, freeze the environment, and the gap, which was previously open, begins to close. So I ask you now, do you feel like you've been letting anger open up these gaps in your life? Have you ever experienced situations where everything seemed to go wrong after an emotional outburst? Have you ever felt like something spiritual was at work behind everything? Right here in the comments, your story could be the beginning of healing for other people who are experiencing exactly this right now. Like this video if it brought you awareness. Share with someone who is experiencing bouts of anger and has no idea how much this could be affecting their spiritual life. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, sign up now. This is what helps us continue to bring content that touches, alerts, and transforms. In the next video, I will show you how to shield your spiritual field with simple practices, prayers, and gestures that help you close these emotional gaps and recover your inner strength. Because whoever controls anger protects his own soul,